where they go, yo. Oh, 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 where they go, yo. Hey, Papa, where they? Oh, where they go, yo. Oh, where they go, yo. Oh, where they go, yo. Hey, Papa, where they? Oh, where they go, yo. 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 Oh, where they go.
If you go way back, Fort Mojave was originally this little town of Hardyville, and which is today Bullhead City. It's founded by a man named Mr. Hardy, William Harrison Hardy, I believe, and it was Mr. Hardy's way of dealing with Indians. He put poison food out for us, and he put that out into the desert for Indian people to come and eat and kill them. He hired soldiers returning from the Civil War, and I remember he gave a interview for a paper one time, and the implication of the article was that that old saying, you know, the only good Indian is dead Indian, and we made a lot of good Indians today, and so we've never been very fond of Mr. Hart. So you get out to as far as visits now. You're way out in the desert. But if you cross from there, and if you go, I wish we had a map. If you cross from there and you went to Kelso, and from Kelso, then you can go up to the Granite Mountains. There are 87 village sites on the Granite Mountains alone, and today we've forgotten the names of those village sites. From the Granite Mountains, it's not very far to the Providence Mountains. And in the Providence Mountains are the Mitchell Caverns, where my great-great-grandfather was known to hang out. A hole-in-the-wall area. From Providence Mountains across the open desert, you come to the Paiute Range. And in the Paiute Range, there's the Paiute Springs, Passau in my language. That's where my grandfather was born. So for us, my family, my cousin Philip here, my cousin Shirley back there, myself, our family, we were deep desert people. We were called the Tira-Niwiwi, Tira Desert Niwiwi people. And so we were one of the large subgroups of the Chemehuevi. There were the Northerners, Las Vegas, Pahrump, Ash Meadows. There were the Southerners, Parker, almost down as far as Yuma, kind of, 29 Palms. And then there were the Tira-Niwiwi, my family, which were deep desert people. When I was a young man, actually it was Philip's father, he said that they lived there, and the government came out and physically removed them from their home, took them to Fort Mojave, put them in school. It was to take us off the land, to take us away from our languages, to take us away from our religion, to take us away from that self-reliance that we had on the desert where we could live and prosper. A lot of times, you know, people have always told me, gosh, it's so bad that you've lost your culture. And I always replied to them, my culture was stolen. We didn't lose it, it was stolen from us. We tend to think of those things as a long time ago. And we tend to think of them as individual bad people doing bad things to other people. In 1850, gold was discovered in California in 1849. In 1850, before California even had statehood, the legislature was meeting. And in 1850, they had a bill. It was the Act for the Protection and Government of American Indians, I believe. And in that bill, so this is now our government speaking. In that bill, it essentially allowed the taking of Indian people from their land and selling them into indentured servitude. And I can't think of any other word other than slavery to describe indentured servitude. So they would take Indian people and And they would arrest them and put them in jail and then auction them off to the highest bidder and put them to work on farms and ranches. And they would take the children into the same thing. Only the children could be indentured up until they were 30 years old. And so again, it was this whole process of removing Indian people from the lands and allowing that land then to become open for other development. Because I know a part of this was established or being presented by the city of Barstow today. And you'll remember that I said when I started off, there were members of the city council and the senior staff of the city who don't think there were Indians here at all, much less Chemehuevi people. And so I wanted to thank the city of Barstow today for recognizing and memorializing the Chemehuevi Indian people. I especially want to thank all of those who worked on the mural that you'll be seeing later today. To Jane and her husband David, without whose inspiration and dedication this would have never come to pass. It's been my honor to speak before you today, and I hope we meet again someday. So in my language, Pikiyum Puni Kampa. We have a language class, and I'm trying to learn. I probably slaughtered that. I'm sorry to hear. Which means basically I'll see you all later. So thank you. Thank you.
Well,